It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Monday, the 13th of October. I'm Michael Groff. One more day with active weather here across the Southwest, but with a bit of a different flavor. Unlike the last few days where rainfall has been fairly widespread, today shower and thunderstorm activity will be much more scattered in nature, but where those storms do occur, they could still put down some very heavy rain, along with the possibility of a few strong and severe storms with strong gusty winds and hail. Now, after today, conditions will calm down substantially here over the Southwest, and it's going to start to feel more like fall with cooler, drier air working its way into the region. Daytime highs will be below average, but it's those overnight lows that we're going to be raving about, because valley-wide, we should see lows getting down into the 50s on many mornings. Yes, finally starting to feel more like mid-October around here. So we'll still answer all those questions about precipitation, temperatures, how low will they get, and what about more rain chances down the road? And what about the tropics in the East Pacific? So much still to get to. Let's dive in and discuss. First, the Almanac from yesterday, 80 degrees the afternoon high, 69 was the morning low. 91 and 67 are the averages, but I kind of buried the lead here because yesterday at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, 1.97 inches of rain. That is a new daily rainfall record, absolutely destroying the old record from back in 1957 of just 0.32 of an inch. We are now up to 3.03 inches for the month, over 7.25 inches for the year, and that means we have eliminated that rainfall deficit, and in fact, we're on the plus side, 1.69 inches above average. Can't remember the last time we were above average on precipitation around here. I think it goes way back quite a ways. It's been at least a year and a half. All right, looking outside right now, here just after 10 o'clock, we do have a few clouds out there. 80 degrees at Sky Harbor, but it is air you can wear. You cut it with a knife out there. Dew point's way up at 70. It feels like a typical summer morning. Yeah, relative humidity is 71%. The wind from the south-southeast at 7, and the barometer is steady. All right, checking the radar here across south-central Arizona. Things are pretty quiet right now. A few showers and storms trying to pop up, but mostly well to the north, east, south, and far off to the west of the valley. We had a severe thunderstorm warning earlier in parts of northwest La Paz County. We've seen some scattered thunderstorms that are getting pretty strong over southeast California and north of the valley as well. If you want to find the concentration of rain, it's across southeast Arizona, mostly to the south and east of Tucson, where some pretty widespread, moderate to embedded heavy showers are ongoing at this time. And we'll continue to see that through the morning hours. But for us, the focus will be on scattered thunderstorms later this afternoon. Satellite picture out here across the Southwest. The setup looks like this. A very impressive area of low pressure is well to the north and west of us, dropping down the Oregon coast toward Northern California. And the winds aloft are screaming out of the southwest, some very strong winds aloft. And with some weak little short waves that are kind of cutting through that southwesterly flow, they will act on this abundant amount of low-level moisture that we still have here over Arizona to trigger additional shower and thunderstorm activity this afternoon and maybe into the early evening hours before the drier air inevitably comes on in and mixes its way down to the surface, and that will put an end to our precipitation chances. But that trough to the north and west of us, what it is also going to do is usher in not only the drier air, but the cooler air as well, and it's going to feel pretty good. All right, here is the watch warning map, and we still have a flood watch in effect for the greater Phoenix area. The National Weather Service has extended the flood watch until 8 p.m. this evening. Maricopa, Pinal County, and that, of course, southeast Arizona, the flood watch in effect for the Tucson, Marana, Nogales, Douglas, Bisbee, Sierra Vista, the greater Ajo, AZ Metroplex, all in that flood watch until 5 p.m. down there. So 8 p.m., the flood watch for Phoenix, 5 p.m. for Tucson. And, of course, what that means is that conditions are still favorable for flood and or flash flooding in and close to the watch area for the remainder of the day today. So keep that in mind. And we also have a wind advisory for parts of northern Arizona, Flagstaff and over toward Kingman along the I-40 there. So be aware of that. Some gusty winds today and tomorrow, and wind advisories throughout the west also. And how about this? Winter storm warnings for the Sierra. some pretty heavy snow could be coming down there. I know you might have seen that on our thumbnail. We had some snow depicted there. And not only there, but over parts of the Intermountain West, the higher mountains in Colorado, the Rockies could pick up at least a little bit of snow, at least rain and snow mix, or snow for the highest of elevations with all this moisture around here. So that's very impressive. 'Tis the season after all. Convective outlook for today. Yeah, a marginal risk of severe storms along the California coast with that very strong area of low pressure, some diffluent flow there. Yeah, could see a few stronger severe storms. And of course, in Arizona, there's that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe storms. The area is in the darker green, and that includes the Phoenix area down toward Casa Grande. Tucson kind of right on the edge of that. So any storms that develop later today, this afternoon, early this evening could be capable of producing winds to 60 miles per hour, as well as some hail. We saw some pretty decent sized hail yesterday from the strongest storms, and we could see that again. We actually even had a tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service office in Flagstaff last evening for a storm up northwest of Winslow that was showing some strong rotation. So I'm not saying that's going to happen today, that tornado, but the atmosphere does favor a few strong storms, and I guess if one gets rooted in the boundary layer, you could get one of those brief spin-up tornadoes. We can't completely rule that out, but for the most part, any severe storms would just mainly be wind and some hail producers. All right, the tropics in the Atlantic Basin. We've got a brand new tropical storm on the board. This is Lorenzo. And Lorenzo, this is a steaming hot plate of nothing right here. This is just going to curve off to the northwest and ultimately off to the northeast and east and out to the middle of nowhere and just fizzle out. And this is just another system that will not have any impact on the United States. And I'm starting to wonder if we will go the entirety of this hurricane season without a hurricane making landfall in the U.S. That would be great. But we still have about a month and a half to go in hurricane season. It runs through the end of November. So, hey, we're looking good so far, though, and the rest of the Atlantic is pretty quiet at present. In the East Pacific, there's another area of disturbed weather off the Mexican coast. Right now, no chance that develops over the next 2 days, but the National Hurricane Center does give that a 40% probability of developing over the next 7 days. Unlikely that system moves up into the southwest to affect us. I say unlikely because, of course, things can change. We will keep an eye on how that develops. So that's what we do here. Looking at the precipitation outlook, this is valid through Monday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, we might still see anywhere from 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch before it's all said and done today. And as I always tell you when we show you this graphic, your amount will vary because any one storm, especially in an environment like this today, could be capable of producing some very heavy rain in a localized area in a short amount of time. And with the soil being as wet as it is, of course, flooding or flash flooding is more likely to occur in this kind of a setup. So keep that in mind as well, as we already have some flooded areas across the valley and across much of central Arizona, northern Arizona as well, as some pretty substantial rainfall has occurred over the last few days. All right, let's get to it now. The models, here we go. The GFS, the 06Z run valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. What might the future hold? Let's run through it here. What you're looking at here is the upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And substantial area of low pressure right there just to the west of San Francisco by this afternoon. That is unusually strong for this time of year. We've got winds screaming through the atmosphere to the southeast of it. Arizona in that kind of favored right entrance region of that jet. And that's why we have the extra dynamic support for some showers and thunderstorms to develop across the area. And just as we've already seen this morning, any storms that pop up, they might be fairly brief, but they could be pretty strong. So down at the surface for the rest of the day today, partly sunny, 40% chance of showers and storms here in the valley. Better chances of storms across east, central, southeast Arizona. The northern part of the state could get in on the action as well. Our friends in southwest Arizona think pretty much the dry air has already kind of settled on in, so not much opportunity for any precipitation down there. But high temperatures in Phoenix today, 82 to 86, and with dew points hovering around 70. Yeah, it is going to feel like a steam bath out there. It'll feel like a monsoon day, even though we are not in monsoon season at all. None of this is monsoonal, even though, I want to address that because some people have brought that up in the comments in recent days. This is not monsoonal in any way, shape, or form. All right. For the rest of the afternoon here, let me show you. This is our HRRR, the high-resolution rapid refresh of the simulated radar product at noon today. It's got some scattered showers and storms popping up around here, and they could pop up pretty much any time. The high-resolution models on a day like today are going to struggle. We've seen some of our guidance that shows nothing here in the valley and across south central Arizona the rest of the day. We have others that show a more robust outbreak of showers and storms, and others that are kind of in the middle, and each one varies from run to run. So I am a little bit suspicious of how that will play out. I think for now we'll just have to call for scattered showers and thunderstorms, and where they do occur, again, locally heavy storms could be the result there. All right, for tonight, those showers and storms around very early in the evening, then they'll die out. And overnight lows will mainly be in the 60s to low 70s. Tomorrow, it's going to start to dry out. Humidity levels will be slowly coming down as we go through the day. High temperatures will top out in the mid-80s or so here in the valley, and will be mostly sunny. Some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms to the west of us across parts of California and Nevada, but all of that is going to stay away from us. Drier air is kind of working in. It'll be windy across northern Arizona and over towards southern Nevada. Be aware of that. But here in the valley, just some breezy conditions at times. Let's go to Wednesday. It's going to start out in the 50s to around 60 in the valley. Beautiful high temperatures, mid 70s to near 80. Gorgeous fall day. Have lunch outside, take a walk, enjoy it. This is what we wait for. We suffer through that 4, 5, sometimes 6 months of hellscape just to get to days like these. So enjoy them. This is Thursday. Lows in the 50s, highs mid to maybe just upper 70s. We may not even make it to 80 degrees on Thursday. That's going to feel great. Friday, basically the same. Temperatures will warm up a couple of degrees, upper 70s and low 80s. Lows still in the 50s. The sky's sunny, the air dry. Saturday, same thing. Sunny sky, low 80s, maybe mid 80s. Mid 80s, possibly upper 80s for the warmest desert spots on Sunday. But again, the sky sunny, the air dry. Those overnight lows will be down in the 50s because the air mass remains very dry. Another trough of low pressure is over the Pacific Northwest. Showers and thunderstorms and some mountain snow up there. But for us, it's pretty quiet. Here's a week from today. This is Monday, the 20th. That trough passes harmlessly to the north of Arizona, knocks the heights down a little bit, so any warm-up that we experience might be somewhat tempered here, with highs dropping back more toward the low 80s or so. There is an upper low shown to be to the west of us on this run of the GFS. How that plays out, it's still more than a week out. Hard to say at this point. This is Tuesday, the 21st. Again, an upper low to the west, and obviously we're going to watch how that phases in with another trough coming into the Pacific Northwest, and we could maybe start to look at the possibility of some unsettled weather out here toward 10 days out. This is Wednesday, the 22nd, but the GFS actually shows that kind of weakening pretty rapidly as it comes on in here. A weakly positively tilted trough, and or a weak positively tilted trough, either way. And as that comes through here, not much fanfare with that. Maybe a few showers across northern Arizona, some clouds around here. Temperatures would head down with that. But if we look at the European AI model at the same time, this is again next Wednesday, the 22nd, it shows a more substantial low coming through here for perhaps an opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms around. Nothing like what we saw over the weekend, but maybe an opportunity for some precipitation. We'll keep an eye on how things play out next week. And obviously, we'll keep watching those tropics. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 27th of October. This is off the GFS ensemble. And the mean is still up about a half an inch. European AI ensemble means about 3/4 of an inch. The control member is way up at 1.5 inches, suggesting some rain today and then more rain out here by about a week out from now. Into next week. We've seen some hints at some moisture creeping in from the tropics again. early next week off of a few of our members, but that is that's definitely an outlier kind of solution at this point. It looks like we're going to stay dry for at least a while. All right, temperatures off the national blend of models. Hey, we'll take that. Highs barely scraping to 80 degrees by the middle part of this week, and then warming up a little for the weekend and downtrend a little bit early next week. Either way, lows mostly in the 60s, maybe even some upper 50s, and that's at Sky Harbor. The rest of us will be well down in the 50s, and hey, maybe the coolest desert spots, those higher deserts, will get down into the upper 40s. Yeah, fall is coming on in. We love it. Of course, we also love the rain. At least I do. This weekend, this has been great. I don't know. You can't beat a rainy weekend. Somebody said that in the comments, and I couldn't agree more. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying what we do here, you want to support the channel, by all means, do so by clicking that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. Make a contribution to us that way, or via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's GROFFshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is also linked up down in the description, Michael-Groff-37. So go ahead and use that if you so desire. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of SweetChildAZ.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle, check her out, blogs, of which, yeah, there's a new one up there. Michelle has been a regular writing machine. Videos and everything Michelle related, Kylie related, Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description below, so check that out too. As is our streaming station, available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music, have a lot of fun with that. And as always, we want you to check out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, or courtroomfiles.com for your Courtroom Files merch. Great channel, mountains of content. Just get into it. That's all I can say. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is amazing. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe out there. Enjoy the rain where you can find it and have yourselves a glorious rest of your Monday.